Hey guys, Shane here, FlyJSim. Welcome to another episode of Test Drive. If you haven't seen these before, this is where we take a scenery, an add-on, and an aircraft in all different sorts of flight simulators these days, and I will take it for a spin around the block and give you my first impressions. So today we'll be checking out the new release from FlyJSim, which is the 737-200 TwinJet version 3. Now, I haven't had the privilege of checking out the other versions of the TwinJet, but far as I'm led to believe and what I've researched, that this has had a pretty heavy overhaul and an update to get to Xplane 11 and taking advantages of all the extra things in the sim. I have read a little bit of information around what people think of the price, which is $69.95. It's quite expensive, but if you're deciding if you want to pick this up or not and price is a consideration, please watch the whole video because I'm pretty sure I will change your mind and it is worth every penny that you pay for, in my opinion anyway. So as we're taking a bit of a walk around, you can see there is a lot of work gone into texture, and you can see FlyJSim have really utilized the physics-based rendering capabilities of Xplane 11, and I love the liveries. They've made a good choice of liveries, and they've done well with actually, making them look well worn and a well-used aircraft on pretty much all the liveries. So to me, on a long hauler or a long haul flight, that eye candy is very important, so you can keep yourself amused by looking at the outside of the aircraft. And FlyJSim claim that actually the textures on the wing and the fuselage are all hand done, and it does look like that because it's such a high quality of work. Doesn't that KLM blue look beautiful? Also, I must mention all the control surfaces are all animated and they work in replay mode. So for a YouTuber that likes to make videos, that is a must for me. And this would be my absolute favorite livery. How good does that look? Also, I'd like to mention that the lighting, all the usual suspects are working and animating in here and really light up the liveries as you're flying along, such as taxi beacon and whatnot. So now we have completed our walk around, we're going to check out our configurations and fuel and payload for today's flight, and I'll show you around those. Okay, so the configuration tools are found on the left hand side in this little menu, as most have. So they're made up on 6 different sections. So the first one is the door. We're going to use this to open the front door and the air stairs. Also, you've got your VREFs for landing and takeoff. Also your weight management for fuel and payload. You can't actually change your cargo until you've actually opened up the cargo doors. That's been modeled, which is cool. Options, so you can change things like make the yoke visible or not. And the maintenance option, I've got this turned off, but I'll turn it on for the flight, which has your failures and maintenance, and also the trusty checklist. But I prefer to use the ones that come with the manual, so I can have it on a different screen. Welcome to the cockpit. We are here at stand A2. I've just finished actually prepping the aircraft for the fuel and weight balance. So we've got our cargo and our people. So I've left that open for you guys to see. I'm just going to close that down now, and then we're going to start closing the aircraft up, the air stairs and the cargo holds. So while that's happening, I must mention the 737-200 is an old aircraft, and back in those days they never used to fly these sorts of aircrafts with FMC, so they didn't exist. They actually weren't around, or they weren't around in these aircraft anyway, so you may be a little bit daunted by that. FlyJSim has actually modeled the default Xplane 11 FMC, so you can fly like that. For me, I'm going to fly the old school way. I've got a list of paper for all my courses and frequencies, and we're going to do it like they used to do it back in the old days. So we'll just open up the cockpit door there, so once we get this bird fired up, you can hear the cabin sounds as everybody's onboarding. We're going to quickly turn on that battery and start the APU, but I'll shut up so you can listen to the beautiful sounds. Yeehaw! If that APU startup doesn't get the flight sim tingles going, I should say, I don't know what would. But we are just going to get the aircraft prepped, ready for engine start, and then we'll go through our navigation setup. So all the systems on the aircraft are study level, and that's one of the things you're paying for this aircraft, which is really good because it makes it immersive. I'm not going to go through all the list of stuff that is study level. You can go and check it all at the Xplane org. I'll leave a link in the description so you can actually see. But I tell you what, it is a lot of fun to actually start this aircraft up, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so time to set up for navigation. We are going to use VORs today. We're not going to use the FMC, but I'm just going to quickly close the door so I can't hear the passengers and they can't see an incompetent pilot in the front there. But we'll just change the frequency here, and that's one of my favorite things. It takes seconds to basically set up for departure, and you don't need to program an FMC if you want to do it the old school way. So I'm just inputting in my frequencies for my first couple of VORs for our departure, and that's it. We are ready to go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, we are pushing back. So I haven't shown you the whole procedure, just snippets of my favorite parts of the startup procedure for before taxi of the aircraft. So just thinking of time of the video. So just turning the fuel pumps on then, and the packs off for engine startup. We're going to start engine 2, so we just turn that to ground, and then we have to wait till it gets to 15% before we add the fuel. So we're going to listen to the sounds of the engine startup actually in the cockpit. There we go, so we've got a good start there. So for little engines, they sound really powerful, absolutely. The sounds in the 737-200 are so immersive, one of the best that I've actually come across. So we're just going to turn engine 1, and you guys can listen to that too. Okay, 2 good engine starts there. So we're going to get the aircraft prepped and ready for taxi, and we'll be on our merry way. It will be a short taxi today. We're just going to go down here, so it won't take long to get up in the air. But I've noticed it takes a little bit of power to get the aircraft moving, but that's okay because the engines sound awesome, so I don't mind at all. Okay, we are configured and ready for takeoff. We're going to be departing out on runway 34 right. I'm not actually really going to be following the SID today. I'm just going to take off, make a right hand turn and make our way to the first VOR. Considering this is the first airliner flight in Xplane, I thought that would be the easiest and first time flight really in this aircraft. So we've been saying that I'll be quiet now and I'll come back to you shortly, just about before we're going to make our right hand turn, so enjoy. So that was interesting. The aircraft was felt it was unstable, and I was actually starting to sink just after takeoff, so I didn't have enough speed there, so I will have to work on that. But anyway, we're going to make a right hand turn up here to a course 103. That'll help us intercept us with our first VOR. So now I'm just turning on the autopilot. I'm going to change it to IS mode. That will help with our ascent up to 29,000 feet, and basically what that will do is I've got my speed bug set at 250. It's pitching the aircraft down to 250 until it reaches that speed, and once it does that, it will then pitch the aircraft up to the best vert speed possible until it reaches to the altitude select altitude, which is 29,000. So now we've hit 250. The IS is basically sitting at 2.5, and for a speed of 250 you usually do about just 1900 to 2000 feet per minute. So So we'll just need to gain a little bit of altitude before we will pick up the first VOR. It does mention you need to be a minimum 18,000 feet, but we'll be able to pick it up around about 13 to 15,000, so we're not too far away. And once we've picked that up, we'll just follow course on that VOR. Okay, so the first VOR is appeared. We're about 177 nautical miles away, so I'm just turning autopilot off, heading select, and putting on VOR lock, and then we just need to adjust our course to match with our line for our VOR, and we are on our way to Orlando. I'll just also adjust the heading, so it should come around to about 92 on this one. I actually haven't turned the lights off of the aircraft or turned the seatbelt signs off, so we must do that now that we're on our way. And what I might do is we'll skip the flight along a little bit because it is getting along in length, and I'll come back to you and as we come to the next VOR, and I'll show you how I do my radios. Alrighty, so we're about to reach our second VOR. We're only about 5 nautical miles away, so not too far at all. So I'm going to show you what I do. I've already actually got the next one inputted into the radios there. So 11520 is what we're on now, and then I think it was what is it? 11630 is the next one. And I've got that programmed into nav2 as well. So that's basically, we've hit the VOR now, and what you should see in the DME2 or the DME1 as we fly away, those numbers should go up, saying that we're actually gone past it. So I'll leave that up there so you can see it. You might just have to trust me, that's what happens, because I'm just thinking length of time of the video. So we'll just switch over now, and the aircraft will turn to the next course, and then as you can see, it's 149 nautical miles to the next nav point, and I'm just adjusting the course line to be in the center. And then basically what I'll do from here now, I'll actually go and set up the radios for the next one. So if you're someone that actually wants to play around with the aircraft while you're flying along, VOR flying is a great way to do it, because it's not a thing where you would set your aircraft up and leave, go and watch a movie and actually come back, like I know some people like to do. So with been saying that, I'm going to leave you with a montage, and I will come back to you as we are at top of descent. So talk to you then. Welcome back to the FlyJSim deck. We're just probably about 100 nautical miles away from Memphis, actually, so about 2/3 away on our flight. So I thought I would actually just do some panning shots and show you around the cockpit and how detailed and I love the texture work. So this is probably one of the best cockpits I've actually sat in Flight Sim. It is really immersive. So a lot of work has been gone into this, and you can really see it. So I can't really give us justice. So hopefully these views can show you what's being done. Just even the scratches on the fire extinguisher buttons. Like, look at the two. You know, all the detail is absolutely awesome. We are going to jump into the cabin and take a bit of a look around in there also. If you've been a viewer for the channel, you know I like checking out the cabin. But from the flight deck, it is looking very nice. Okay, so it's time to explore around, and don't you get hit with those colours. Jeez, that's shalladelic. Is that the word? Is that what they used to say? 70s word, but you know, that's some 70s carpet on the walls there. So galley has been done a nice rendition, and we're in first class here, so you gotta love the what does that look like, velvet seats or something. Moving through to where I would normally sit, and that's in a cattle class. And one of the things that it's really cool about this, and we'll go into the emergency exit area, because these are the seats I like to try to grab, is you can actually play around. You can move the sun visor up and down, which is really cool if I can actually get it. You can see it changes the shadow, and that would actually reflect to what you change, I believe, on the outside of the aircraft when you actually have a look in. So, which is pretty cool. So this is probably one of the best interiors of an aircraft that I've seen for a long time. And it doesn't impact in frame rates whatsoever. So you can see all the texture work on the back of the trade tables, how they're all a bit dirty where everyone's sort of touching. So, and also no smoking sign. So done very well. So pretty cool. So now that we've had an in-depth look on the exterior and the interior of the aircraft, it's time to get this baby down. So we'll see you at top of descent. Alrighty, we are 61 nautical miles past our last VOR, so I've got the aircraft on heading select because I know where I need to go to intercept the localizer for the ILS when we get to Orlando. But we need to start descending, so I'm going to actually show you what we need to do with that. So we're going to descend at a speed of 250 nautical miles, and basically what I do is I just change it to IAS mode, and I move the altitude indicator down to first step of 19,000, and I slowly reduce the throttle back. You want to do it slowly, because if you do this quickly, the aircraft is basically going to plunge down to vert speed of 4,000. So what's going to happen is the aircraft is going to slow down to 250 knots, and then once it does that, the aircraft is going to change the pitch down so it can match that speed at 250. So if you want to you know, only go down at a speed at 250, but you only want to go down 1,000 feet per minute, just put some extra power into the engines and you can play around with it itself. Martian caution, I think, went on there for some reason. I had the brakes on. I think that's what it actually is. So that's how you do your descent with the IAS, and we're going to come back to you as we capture the localizer and come in to land at Orlando. So I'll see you then. Okay, so we've locked onto the localizer. I basically flew into this airport pretty much lined up to runway 17 left where I needed to go. We've actually put the autopilot on auto approach, and we've just captured the glide slope then. So now I'm just reducing the speed. Because the 737-200 it's got little wings compared to the 737s nowadays. we'll see how we go. So I'm aiming to land just under about 140. So just popping the gears down and slowing the aircraft. So we've been saying that I've only had now one airliner landing in Xplane 11, so it should be interesting. Not think it's going to be pretty or anything like that, but so you know, going from startup, going from engine start, APU start, taxiing to flying to VOR, looking inside and out. This is an awesome aircraft. So I'm not sponsored by any way, but it's probably been one of the most excited things I've been excited about airliner in any sort of flight sim since the NGX come out. So, and I actually think this is probably on the borderline being better than an NGX. Sorry, the PMDG NGX. So for some prepared followers out there, might be a bit stunned me saying that, but yeah, it's leaning that way. It is a lot of fun to fly, so really enjoying it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this my aircraft just under what this will say 1,000 feet, but I must have actually had the wrong altitude settings in there because it wasn't really 1,000 feet. So 5 nautical miles to go. I'm going to be quiet now so you guys can enjoy the landing. We'll take a look at the replay and then we'll clean up the aircraft. That was just a little bit of a thump and a bit of a bounce, but I tried to keep it down to centerline. That was interesting though. Just at low speeds it's quite hard to control, so obviously I need to get used to that. So, but that was a lot of fun. So I think I come in a bit too high at one stage. So pretty cool. So we've been saying that we're going to make a right hand turn, and I'll show you a replay and then I'll come back with my final thoughts. So yeah. So at the start of the video I mentioned that this package is $69.95, and I did hear some stuff where people was thinking it was a little bit too expensive. So hopefully this video gives you an in-depth sort of first impression / review, and it really shows that it is definitely worth the money. Yes, it's a little bit pricey and it's more expensive than some of the other stuff, but out on the market, but it is more detail, and I would say this would have to be the best or equal best with the best 737 that's out there for any flight simulator to date. So I've got a long taxi ride back to the gate in Orlando, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If this is the first time you've watched one of the videos, thanks for coming along. Please hit that like button, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate the support. If you're a subscriber to the channel, if I can say subscriber properly, feel free to hit the notifications button so you can see when all my videos come out and you get notified. And if you want to stay up to what I'm doing during the week, you can check out the FlyJSim Facebook page. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, good day.